Sir, namaskar. Good evening.
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
How are you, sir?
बस बहुत ज्यादा बिजी।
I know, totally understandable. This is the pitch of the time.
हाँ, but no issue by the grace of the Almighty।
Yes.
ठीक चल रहा है। बस अब चूंकि नेचुरली आईएसएस ने क्या कर रखा है कि अब ये लोग समझते नहीं हैं।
जी।
बहुत छोटे स्पैन के लिए विंडो भी खोला और उसके बाद पासवर्ड को भी रीसेट करने में बहुत सारा इशू आ गया है। लेकिन
काफी
चलो,
ज्यादा से हाँ जी हाँ, there were uncountable messages in them in ISS group also. काफी ज्यादा थे messages वगैरह तो।
हाँ, अब उसमें क्या है, नहीं, वन मोर थिंग।
जी
18 अक्टूबर को इन लोगों ने
जी
नोटिफिकेशन किया एंड
जी
18 अक्टूबर वाज द स्टार्ट ऑफ धनतेरस। ओके,
yes yes
अभी धनतेरस, छोटी दिवाली, बड़ी दिवाली,
जी जी
गोवर्धन पूजा, भाई दूज, तो वो
जी
अन्नकूट 5-6 दिन गया। और
जी
जो ही 23rd 24th में खत्म हुआ,
जी
इमीडिएटली इंटायर कंट्री वाज ग्रिप्ड विद छठ पूजा आल्सो, है ना।
yes
बिकॉज
yes yes.
पूर्वांचल के लोग आजकल तो यूपी में भी हैं, दिल्ली में भी हैं, नेचुरली झारखंड,
Sir, वाकई
बिहार।
में like 2-3 साल छठ पूजा is kind of a total national festival. Like we have people
यस,
everywhere, everywhere,
एवरीवेयर एवरीवेयर, यू नो।
everywhere. Yes yes.
और मैं बहुत ऐसे लोगों को जानता हूँ जो
जी
ट्रेडिशनली छठ पूजा नहीं करते थे,
जी जी
लेकिन
जी.
दे हैव स्टार्टेड डूइंग छठ
Yeah,
पूजा
yes,
आल्सो।
sir. Just like गणपति जी का जो होता है
या
त्योहार,
या
वैसे
या
ही भी हो
एंड
चुका हुआ है.
इट्स अ वेरी वेलकम थिंग। ये बहुत अच्छी
Every
बात है
house, yes,
कि
yes.
हम सारे कल्चर्स को इम्बाइब करें और वो करें।
जी जी
तो वो, वन सेकेंड।
जी. Do we have triple S IS conveners here?
Ma'am, I am Ashish from Triple SIS account.
Okay, Ashish. Good evening, brother. Right, bache, right.
Yes, ma'am. Anumita will be joining in few minutes. She
Right,
is the
and Gaurav.
moderator.
And Gaurav is there with us?
Gaurav will be coming in few minutes, ma'am.
Right.
Okay.
Sir is always very professional and very particular about this. So he's already there before even I joined.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, but I will wait. Okay. Kalpesh sir, good evening. Namaskar. Triple S IS convener. Ashish, make sir co-host, beta. Kalpesh sir,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Kalpesh sir. Namaskar. Sanjay sir is already with us. And we all met in NatCon 25 itself also. Anumita, am I audible?
Anji ma'am, now you're audible.
ठीक है फटाफट। Kalpesh sir, are you there?
We will start at 7 o'clock, na?
Yes sir, sharp 7
Okay,
sir, please
okay,
relax. Sharp
okay.
7. We just have our 8-9 minutes yet also. I will wait. Thank you. We sir, good evening. Namaskar ji, namaskar. How are you?
All well. What-
Thank you for always being such a brilliant and such a patient participant, even after being a resource person kind of a person for all of us.
Ma'am, it's only because of you, ma'am. You gave us chance, so that's why we are here. Otherwise, it is not possible to meet
Thank you, sir.
such a
Sanjay sir, let me introduce Dr. Veer also.
Namaskar.
He is a very senior officer from SWAM, CEC, Consortium of Education
Namaskar, sir.
Communication. And Sanjay sir, we sir know,
नमस्कार
like,
नमस्कार सर
Sanjay
So,
sir is
ma'am,
always
it's
there with us.
a privilege to be with you because all the
Thank you.
sessions were very brilliant, and I
Yes.
um, studied about sir also. Sir is also very
Yes, sir.
brilliant researcher.
Sir is a global reach.
Yes,
He's a global
globally,
reach, and we're
globally.
fortunate that he's always saying a yes to us whenever we request him to be part of the university events.
Yes,
We're
sir.
very fortunate for this.
When you posted sir's content, then at that asked about sir. So sir is
Yes,
very
yes.
brilliant personality and very
He's
brilliant
like he's
researcher or
having
academician.
positions. He's having positions and work in lots of international universities, not from
Yes,
Russia,
sir.
US. Recently, he's been given very high position in US bodies also. Just for his
That was,
excellent work in sociology of sports specifically.
yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for such a brilliant or great
Thank you, sir.
FDP. It's my privilege.
Honored, sir. Honored.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So honored. Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anamita, in just 2 minutes we'll begin. It's 6:59, so the clocks may match within 2 minutes maximum. Sanjay sir, we'll just begin in 2 minutes maximum from now. It's comfortable?
ओके ओके
Right.
नो इशू
Right, sir. Thank you for being patient. Thank you. Anamita, please kindly go ahead. We have Gaurav, or you just kindly take the job to welcome sir
Yes,
first of
ma'am.
all formally.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to all our esteemed speakers and participants. It gives me immense honor to commence the 9th session of the 11-day online faculty development program on developing pedagogical and research skills, organized by Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law Punjab in collaboration with Law Teachers India. Today's session is on the formation of an ideal personality, complementing teaching and research potential. We are honored to have with us Professor Dr. Sanjay Tiwari, an eminent academician and researcher whose multifaceted contributions span across sociology, sports studies, and international academic collaboration. Professor Tiwari currently serves as the honorary professor at Russian Academy of Social and Fundamental Sciences, Moscow. He also holds the position of chair, sport, leisure, and body division of the Society for Study of Social Problems at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, USA. He is the convener of the Research Committee 25, Sociology of Sports, and has previously served as the managing committee member of Indian Sociological Society. We are truly honored to have you with us today, sir. The floor is all yours.
Sir, thank you so much for being with us. Let me share with all the participants. He's such a support system for many of us, including us. Whenever we have some event, he's invited as a resource person, as a special guest or keynote speaker. But sir registers himself as a participant and pays the fee for registration. And you always believe it is one small contribution to the success of the event. This is one thing. And second thing, Anumita, you are the first year student, and but amazingly you are very brilliant. So you haven't had experiences of the conferences as of now, more other than the NatCon itself. Sir came for NatCon previous and then commissions event, then this NatCon. He joins the organizing committee early morning at 7:30 and 8 in the auditorium seminar hall to encourage the students and encourage us. And then he goes and then comes back again as keynote speaker. So he's one such support system and such an elderly, respectable person for us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being with us. We are honored and so thankful that you are here with us. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you all very much. See, Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, the Department of Sociology, is an extended home for me, extended family for me. And there is that personal touch also. And when Professor Jasleen ma'am asked me about this program, and specifically this topic, I'll let you know that why this topic is of more relevance to me today. Apart from my credentials, which Arunima has just now read, I'll let you know why is it very important for the today's topic also. Since it's a 11-day program, thanks to the RG, NUL, and the law teachers of India also for this program. And I very well examine, very well know, very well introspect that how much amount of labor is being put up behind all these programs, just in order to gain something and gather something for our faculties also, so that in turn they can try to percolate it down the line. So this is one aspect. Second is that there are many FDPs, many refresher courses, many systems going on. But when we talk about all these FDPs and other things also, basically it's very important for all of us to assess the quality of the program also, and the material which is being imparted to our teachers, because down the line it will pass on to not only to them, but also pass on to our next generation, that is our students also. So we should be very sort of choosy as far as selecting our programs is concerned. For me, when this topic came, since you are today, the basic aim of this FDP is basically to develop the pedagogical, you can say, such of a skills and to sharpen your research skills also. So when this program came to me, it was so important that I ought to develop that what should I come up with a subject like this. And when I was informed that it is formation of an ideal personality, for me, ideal word is a sort of a very big word. Nobody can become that way as an ideal. But if in case we can say perfect, not only perfect, but somewhat near to perfection, because nobody is perfect, that way. Then how come after designing our structure in a manner where our personality grows, it reflects upon how can we try to complement this personality into teaching, and in the process how can we try to sharpen our research skills also. Both things, teaching and research, they are not different things, but teaching means whatever we have learned, we are trying to tell our students. But if in case we are not imbibed with the latest and current trends that are going on in the current world, we are not abreast with the latest technologies, latest research systems, latest paradigm shifts also, what will we give to our students also? That is why the concept of teaching, when it collides with the concept of research, makes a very great combination, number one. Now, number two, what I'll try to do is that before I come to share the small screen and a short of a small slides also, Uh, uh, Behind my exposure of sports, I have been an athlete. Then I have been a national technical official of many games. Then I tried to bring something because I had the knowledge of the practice of the game in the ground. And since I was a UG or maybe a law graduate or a postgraduate sociology or MBA, the net sociology, PhD sociology. So what I tried to do is I tried to combine the theory as well as the practice. And then I tried to incorporate the concept of the study of the sports sociology in India, and it's bouncing and it's galloping at a good speed enough. But that is not today the deal which I want to come with. Apart from this deal, I have a 36 plus years of managerial exposure. And when I come on this impact, then today's, when I talk about the personality, when we talk about the conflict management, when we talk about so many sorts of management, which we at our workplaces try to deal with, are very important. And the importance of the social sciences and the humanities, rather humanities and the social sciences, has been increasing day by day, night by night, months by months, year by years. And the clear signal before all of you is that previously, if in case you just try to sit down, close your eyes, and think about our Indian Institutes of Technology or the National Institute of Technologies, NITs, or the triple ITs, whatever it is, those were totally the centers for teaching engineering systems. Okay, BTech, MTech, something like this. Over the phase, what happened is that when these engineers used to go for jobs, they were not trained, they were technocrats, but they did not know how to manage a particular system. That is why the system of study of MBA was introduced in our engineering institutes. For that sake, IIT or triple IT or NIT or whatever it is. Then when they studied management, then the concept came, Array, now they are able to manage, but what about the societal implications? And there came the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, teaching them the economics or the psychologies or the sociologies or blah, 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 something like this. So today in each and every engineering institute, you will find the MBA institutes also, and also the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences. So what is my today's presentation is only, it is a combination of all these things which will try to develop your personality in a different way. Let me share the screen.
Visible, sir.
It is visible now.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Okay. So the topic is very clear to you. My introduction has already been given. So now no need to just try to elaborate more over that. It's here. Now, when we talk about the preface or the introduction in today's chapter or in today's presentation, in today's 1.5 hour, whatever time I've been given, is that the topic was sought as the ideal personality. Now, when we talk about in real terms, what is a personality? Naturally, a personality is basically a conglomeration of so many things. What we think, basically, what our emotions try to drive us, and in the process, what is our behavior. And when we talk about emotions, it imbibes so many cultural aspects, societal aspects, and so many other aspects. And when I talk about the cultural aspects, it involves the parental aspects also, your upbringing also. There are so many things also. That is why personality basically is a reflection of your cultural thoughts, cultural behavior also. So when we talk about personality, it is the assimilation of all these three issues. Number one, when immediately we come to the academia as teachers, as tutors, as persons who will try to enhance our profession by teaching, the again the important word the important word is that how basically can we try to bridge the gap between teaching and research. And when I said in the starting, when I said teaching and when I said research, teaching is something which I have already acquired through my education, being a maybe a postgraduate or a MPhil or a PhD or whatever it is. You know, I got that thing from my own education. That is what I got. But how to bridge that gap between teaching and research? It can only be done when our personality reflects in a more different sort of a fashion, and we try to bridge this gap by inducting a sort of a research. And when I talk of research, it does not mean only going for research in the sense of a publication or a major or minor project with UGC or ICSSR or anything else also. Basically, the research implies a holistic approach which not only involves research and publications, it also involves going to conferences, going to seminars, attending FDPs, attending refresher courses, and trying to polish your basically knowledge level which you had acquired previously. So ideal personality goes like this. And when I talk about ideal personality doesn't mean that Sanjay Tiwari knows everything. No, no, please don't misinterpret me. It means that I am in the process of bridging that gap between my teaching systems and my research systems. Okay, this is only what I want to say when I want to talk about ideal personality. Second, two issues after putting off these two issues, what should be our goal? What should be our aim? Only to try to ensure that we are very nice educators who can try to plant the seedlings, the small seedlings who will grow in the future, who will grow into being a good society, a good human being, in the process being a good citizen, a good countryman also, and a good person also. This is what the teacher intends to do. So when I talk about being a holistic educator, it means only how come can we inspire people, how come can we ask them to take into new ideas, do something which has innovative prospects also, and in the process try to influence the entire society. This is what I intend to see. Now, when again I come to talk about the components of the ideal personality, you know, intellectual excellence. Intellectual excellence doesn't mean that I'm very intelligent. Intellectual excellence only means that I am competent enough, I'm capable enough to put up questions. You know, when we talk about a particular government, no, let us not criticize any government. We should only try to assess and critically think about the policies of the government. That is known as intellectual thinking. If in case the policies are wrong, we can come into place with some new ideas also. And how come it comes? Unless and until we are curious to enhance our capacities, and once our capacities are enhanced, we are not keeping it to ourselves, we are trying to give it to a creative mind, we are coming out to something, and through the process of critical thinking we can somewhat achieve intellectual intelligence also. Now, second point is when I talk about the emotional maturity. What is the emotional maturity? Emotional maturity means empathy, stability, and patience. And here, when we talk about emotions, we talk about our beliefs, our customs, our traditions. As a teacher, as a researcher, you have to have a very fine balance between your cultural upbringings and what the world is changing into. That is known as emotional maturity. Emotional maturity doesn't mean that it will come to you by virtue of age or by virtue of anything else. It will only develop through your curiosity, the process in which you try to learn and achieve new things. You try to do some experimental thinking also, and then you try to critically evaluate the policies or the procedures or the systems which are in place. Third is the ethical integrity. Now, when we talk about the ethical integrity, it clearly states, when we talk about ethical integrity, it clearly goes to our roots also, our morals also, our systems also, our beliefs also. How can we be honest and accountable and humiliation at the same time, humble at the same time, not to criticize what has happened. For example, in sociology, since this is a not a total segment of sociologist over here, but when we talk about sociology, uh, I'll talk in very simple terms. Jasleen ji also knows it, and many sociologists who are here will be knowing me that there is a small word known as deconstruction of the social theories. When we talk about deconstruction of the social theories, it doesn't mean that we are criticizing or sorry. Let me come into I will not talk about sociology. I'm coming into a very simple area, and we have heard the word decolonization. Now, decolonization, people take that you are trying to criticize the previous governments or the British rule or the blah, 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 and something like this. No, no. Decolonization only means that the systems that were in place 50 years, 80 years, 100 years, 1,000 years ago need to be revisited. For example, when we talk about the construction of the social theories, it means कि अगर Durkheim ने, if in case Durkheim talked about suicide or capitalism की बातें करी गई, that was more than 350 years ago, you know. And when he talked about suicide, there were reasons कि 3 तरीके से 4 तरीके से suicide होता था. Today somebody was telling me that in chat GPT somebody found that 12 lakh queries were there on how to commit suicide. Now just try to examine the thing, how the society is undergoing a change. So when I take that society is undergoing a change, it does not mean when I talk about social deconstruction of theories कि मैं पुरानी की बुराई कर रहा हूं. No, I am only trying to revisit the things, taking into consideration the contemporary times. That is why जब हम decolonization की बात भी करते हैं, it also means to try to think about the current perspective also. That is why teachers, educators, and friends over here will be of late, they have started hearing the system of Indian knowledge system. Now, this Indian knowledge system is clear, a system trying to think what the Indian knowledge system had produced you nearly 200, 500,000, 2,000 years back. Okay, it was the fourth point, social sensitivity. Now, when I talk about the social sensitiveness, it's very important. Without crucifying anybody else's belief. That is the word known as inclusiveness. I'll not try to crucify any else's belief. Okay? How come can we work in a sort of a group, in a sort of a team, and not trying to predict oneself as a leader, trying to predict everybody as a leader will be a very important element for the social sensitivity. When I talk about leadership, it doesn't mean me as a leader. It means you as a leader. It means he as a leader. It means she as a leader. So, for a personality, the social sensitivity element has to be taken into great consideration. Last is the professional competence. Without research, without technological base, without knowledge base, how can we increase our competence? So our teaching will only increase once our research base increases, once our other systems also increases, and then we can try to see that we are a great personality also. So this is the sort of as far as this slide goes. Now, next one, the role of teaching in personality formation. This is very important because now we have moved ahead. Now we are presuming that the teacher has that incubation of teaching plus research also. Now, what is the first important point? The teaching, basically, it refines your communication strategies. It should have a very clarity. And when you talk about empathy, it does not mean sympathy. It means it should have values for your sentiments also. Number one. Number two, naturally, it has to encourage self-discipline. You don't have to degrade somebody, and you have to instill in that student, in that teacher, that sense of responsibility also, whether he or she is a student whether he or she is a teacher or whether he or she is a responsible citizen of the great country named as India. Third, what has to the teacher has to do, he or she creates a feedback loop for continuous learning. Today we are sitting in a FDP program of 11 days. We will try to garner the experience what has happened during this program of 11 days. We will try to come out with a small report on this program. We will try to assess what went good, what went wrong. If in case what went good, how can it be better? And in the next term, how can it be best? Similarly, if in case there something has gone wrong, how can we try to improve that thing? So basically, it is a continuous learning process. And I always say that a learner is able to learn all the time. You know, all the time he or she has to learn, and you do not know from which counter, from which corner the learning process will peep into you. So never try to to assume that somebody has a less knowledge level. No, you never know at what level he must be having a good knowledge. So it's a continuous process. Number 3. Number 4, when you have these abilities, when you try to form all these things, what will happen in the process is that you will be a sort of a more confident. And when you will be more confident, that capabilities of supervising your people will naturally imbibe in you. And it's a research process only, ना. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने आज आपको ये प्रेजेंटेशन पे आया हूँ, ठीक है ना. Jasleen ji knows that I am through my election campaign for the post of the Secretary of the Indian Sociological Society. But I had to do a lot of reading also. मैंने मीट को पढ़ा, मैंने और लोगों को भी पढ़ा, and I came out some very very important clauses also. तो अगर मैं भी पढ़ूंगा नहीं तो कैसा confidence आएगा? So that ways I have to build confidence in me by trying to parallel up with the recent trends in whichever subject you are trying to deliver. And this in the process will see that you are a great mentor, you are a great tutor, you are a great researcher, and you are a great motivator also. Now, what is the role basically of our show publications, research, conferences in the personality formation? Why I say this? Ladies and gentlemen, 2020 में कोविड आया, 2021 में फिर कंटिन्यू हुआ. Prior to COVID, you tell me who knew about webinars, who knew about virtual meetings, who knew about Google, who knew about WebEx meets? Nothing. Zoom meets? No. Today, everybody is well versed. Initially, if in case you remember, ये स्क्रीन को शेयर करने में बहुत दिक्कत होती थी, पता नहीं होता था. Let me tell you really. So what happened is that after COVID is only a simple example of telling you a particular phase of change, because वो century का सबसे बड़ा pandemic था. So I am just trying to tell you by the example of COVID that there was a stance change and the critical inquiry changed. हम फैमिली को स्ट्रक्चर में चेंज करें. देयर वर मेनी स्टडीज जिसमें बच्चे लोग एक महीने के लिए अपने घर में बैठे हैं. दे आर नॉट एबल टू मूव फ्रॉम दिस रूम टू दैट रूम. दे आर नॉट अलाउड टू टच दिस. दे आर नॉट अलाउड टू ग्रो डाउनस्टेयर्स. साइकोलॉजिकल इश्यूज शुरू हो गए थे. तो व्हाट हैपेंड इज दैट critical inquiry had new paradigms. There were new shifts also. So unless until as a researcher हम उस चीज को नहीं जानेंगे, we will not try to assess all these things. मेरी पर्सनालिटी डेवलप नहीं होगी. हमको कोविड के बारे में नहीं पता चलेगा, कैसे कैसे नए चेंजेस हो रहे हैं हमें नहीं पता चलेगा. एंड जब हम छोटे रिसर्चर्स को नहीं करेंगे, when we will not do all these things, we will not be having evidence based data before us. And when we will not be having evidence based data before us, naturally we cannot resonate with our research. हम reasoning नहीं दे पाते हैं उसको. This is one issue, number one. Second, जब आपने कोई चीज को रिसर्च करी है, आप छोटा सा एग्जांपल देखिए. आप सब लोग टेलीविजन पे यू पीपल सी जी ओपिनियन पोल्स ऑल्सो. ओके, वो चुनाव के बाद आ जाता है और वो एक एसेस करता है. से इट टेक्स ए एग्जांपल ऑफ मे बी सैंपल ऑफ 10,000 पीपल, 12,000 पीपल, 50,000 पीपल, है ना. एंड इट डज कम आउट विद अ स्मॉल सॉर्ट ऑफ अ रिसर्च, क्वेश्चन पूछे, एंड देन इट फॉर्म्स कि नहीं नहीं, ये इस रीजन में दिस पार्टी इज गोइंग, इसमें इतना, इसमें इतना, लेकिन उसमें जो रिसर्चर होता है, द पर्सन हु हैज कंडक्टेड दैट रिसर्च, he also sits in that panel. आपने देखा है कि वो क्या कहता है? Just try to learn. He has that patience. वो आपके क्वेश्चंस को जवाब देता है because he has been through that research. So he knows कि what are the questions, मैंने कैसे questions पूछे हैं, कैसे मैंने बातचीत करी है. That is why a diversified set of questions which are being put up to him or her can be replied in a very systematic manner. So what does research give it to you? Research gives that patience in you, that perseverance in you, and the skills to solve the problems also. Third, now it naturally, मैंने 10 रिसर्च कर लिया है, 15 रिसर्च कर लिया. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, I am researching in the area of domestic violence against women. After the Violence Act of 2005 against women, there were many researches. What happened is that domestic violence has many aspects. For example, I'm just trying to put up a small example before you. See, persons used to come of a lower strata. They used to take some drinks and you used to do some wife bashing, some beating, horrible, something like this. Okay. Some were white collar crimes. They were very sophisticated persons. They don't used to beat their wives or the women folk, but they used to deal in a very different manner, in a very pinching manner. What has happened throughout is that when you are going into a proper research and you took domestic violence again a particular segment, it will give you a sort of a credibility to assess that what domestic violence is that, and then you can also try to enter into that medium strata of people or the higher income people also, and then you can try to assess the violence against the women folk over there also. Okay, now this will enhance your credibility also, and it will contribute to your research also, which you have already done 1 2 3 4 5. So when I talk about enhancing your the role of research in enhancing your personality, it means this enhances your credibility also and your wisdom contribution also. And the last thing is that now research, when I talk about the research integrity, it strengthens about the moral foundation. This chapter, this point has some discourses. You may disagree with me also over here. Means that at large I have seen that the research integrity, when I have done lots of research, it sort of creates a very moral foundation for me, base for me. But what happens is that there is a term known as participant observation. Okay, and when I talk about participant or observation, it also means non-participant observation. Okay, when I talk about participant observation and non-participant observation, it clearly means that if in case I am trying to go and do some research, for example, I'm trying to go and research into a Bhil tribe community, okay, and unless and until I live with them, I eat with them, I I sleep with them, I will not know their habits. This is one aspect as a participant observation. But the non-participant observation, for the participant observation, what happens is that at times I may get influenced by them, and my research may also get influenced. Similarly, when I talk about the non-participant observation, I say, no, 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 I am watching these fellows from a distance. I know everything about them and I'm researching. But the other evidence says, no, you have not tried to live into their lives. You cannot examine this thing. Now, the researcher, what he does or she does, if in case I have done a number of studies in the area of domestic violence, it strengthens my moral foundation also. slightly a gap is still over there that I want to tell you. When I talk about it strengthens the moral foundation, because I have done n number of researches in this area, so I am more better placed than you to deliver something in this area. That is why on this focal point I wanted to tell you that the research integrity will try to strengthen your moral foundations also. Okay, this is the now teaching and research complementarily. When I talk about teaching, very simple, nothing to say, you all know everything. Transmission of knowledge. Research, I have told, it will generate some new systems within you. And when synergy is there, when the joint is there, it enriches your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, your everything. Second, when you teach your students, naturally it motivates. But you are teaching your students on the basis of you yourself have studied. But when you are in the research areas also, it explores new questions in your teaching systems also. And both together they combine and they combine into सर मैं एक एफडी में हूं, आई एम इन एफडीपी, मैं अभी बात करता हूं आपसे. So they together foster curiosity. Third thing is, now teaching applies so many theories. And आपने अभी सुना होगा, ladies and gentlemen, मैंने आपको पहले बोला था कि there is a need to deconstruct the social theories. मैं उन्हीं theories को पढ़ाऊंगा, मैं बोर्डियो को पढ़ाऊंगा, गिडिंस को पढ़ाऊंगा, ठीक है ना, मैं आपको कॉम्टे को पढ़ाऊंगा, है ना, मैं सोशियोलॉजिस्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है ना. बट जो रिसर्च होता है वो इन थ्योरीज को टेस्ट करता है. फिर वही बात हो गई जो मैंने बोला, टुगेदर ये दोनों को एक साथ मिला के जो वो थ्योरीज उस समय प्रेडिक्ट हुई थी, उन्होंने रिसर्च की थी, जो हम आज कर रहे हैं, वो जब कंबाइन होगा, इट विल बी ए सुपर कॉम्बिनेशन बिफोर दिस थिंग. देन लास्ट थिंग, feedback from the learners. आप जिसको पढ़ा रहे हो, he or she can give you some very great views also. You have to incorporate those views also. उनके साथ जो experiments आप कर रहे हो, whether they are doing it something new, this will be a new experiment also. And now when you come up outside, your personality will be a different personality. You will be having a refined and an improved system of teaching and imparting knowledge to your class, to your students, to whomsoever you think. Now what is the sociological perspective? मैंने लिख दिया था, चूंकि सोशियोलॉजी का आदमी हूं, इसको मैं सोसाइटल पर्सपेक्टिव कह देता हूं आपको, to try to understand in a more sort of a easy manner, है ना. Now personality basically जो है, जैसे मैंने शुरू से बोला, देखिए कल्चर वर्ड आ गया, ये सब it is an outcome of our upbringing. जो social institutions, when I talk about social institutions, in sociology we study कि sports is an institution worth of study, economy is an institution worth of study, religion is an institution worth of study, so जब family is an institution worth of study. तो जो मेरी पर्सनालिटी होती है, मेरे पेरेंट्स ने हमको जैसे अपब्रिंगिंग किया होता है, मेरे घर में हम जैसे रहते आते होते हैं, it all depends on our personality also, our culture also, हमारी सोसाइटी में हम जाके कैसे उन रिदम्स को, इन सिस्टम को फॉलो करते हैं. नंबर वन, दिस इज द सोसाइटल पर्सपेक्टिव. नाउ academia as a social system rewards collaboration or innovation. Academia का यही काम आता है. The main thing is that whatever, if in case there are any shortcomings, I'm not saying that any culture is forbidden, it is shortcoming, no. But हरियाणा का बेटी जो है, अगर वो कहती है घर में कि मेरे को बॉक्सिंग करना है, तो इट इज ए वेलकम स्टेप. ओके. बट इफ इन केस बिहार की एक बेटी कहती है कि मेरे को रेसलिंग में जाना है, it is not sort of a welcome step. So we live in the same country, but the two states have a sort of a different social conception, cultural conception, and it depends upon the interaction also. What will be the role of the academia? अगर मैं स्पोर्ट्स सोशियोलॉजिस्ट हूं, मैं जाके कहीं बोलूंगा, व्हाट विल आई से? नहीं, वो हरियाणा ठीक है, वो कर रहा है, आप लोग मत करो. नो, आई विल ट्राई टू पुट इन सम some queries before them. I will try to put up some systems health before them. I will try to put up some researchers before them, and I will try to teach them कि नहीं कैसे इसमें भी आप डेवलप करोगे, कैसे स्किल्स डेवलप होते हैं, ठीक है ना. So when I talk about academia, basically वो social systems को वो इनोवेट करता है थ्रू कोलैबोरेशन. कोलैबोरेशन कैसे? सोशल कल्चर्स को वो साइड बाय लाइन नहीं करता है, बट ग्रेजुअल फेज में उन पे वो और रिसर्च करके आगे बढ़ता है. एंड थर्ड इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, the ideal personality academic, you can say, adapts to changing the societal needs and the student diversity also. For example, I have just now told you about the Indian knowledge system. बहुत सारे वेबिनार्स आप लोगों ने सेमिनार्स अटेंड किए होंगे जो इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के लिए बातचीत कर रहे हैं. यू नो व्हाट इज दिस डिबेट इज गोइंग ऑन, ठीक है ना, कि क्या ब्रिटिशर्स ने गलत बता दिया, क्या भाई उनके सिस्टम तो सब अच्छे हैं. नो, सिस्टम बिल्कुल उनके अच्छे हैं, बट देर आर मेनी सिस्टम्स जो हमारे भी बहुत अच्छे हैं. उनको कैसे हम रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं, उनके साथ कंजंक्शन में कर सकते हैं. यू नो, it does not mean replacing those systems. It means only conjunction of those systems. आप लॉ के स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे हैं, लॉ का यूनिवर्सिटी है, यू नो कि भाई बीएनएस आ गया. नो, व्हाट इज बीएनएस? भाई बीएनएस का तो बेसिक कंसेप्ट यही है. बेसिक कंसेप्ट ये था कि पुराना जो आईपीसी चलता था, दैट वाज बेसिकली डिजाइन्ड एट सॉर्ट ऑफ अ पेनलाइजिंग अ पर्सन. अभी बीएनएस का जो कंसेप्ट लेके आते, डिबेट हो सकती है, यू कैन डू सो मेनी डिस्कोर्स ऑन दीज इश्यूज, लेकिन बीएनएस का सिस्टम क्या है, कैसे हम उस बंदे को एथिकली उस क्राइम को करने को हम उसको रोक सकते हैं. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यू नो तो यहीं पे आपकी एकेडमिक आइडियल पर्सनैलिटी का एक सॉर्ट ऑफ एसिमिलेशन होगा कि कैसे हम सोसाइटल नीड्स को चेंज करके धीमे से अडॉप्ट कर सकते हैं और स्टूडेंट की डाइवर्सिटी को भी हम उसमें मर्ज कर सकते हैं. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. देन वैल्यूज, डाटा और टीचिंग आपको रखनी है. नथिंग टू स्पीक ऑन दिस इशू. वैल्यूज एंड टीचिंग इज ऑलरेडी ओवर देयर. उसमें मेरे को कोई नई चीज बात नहीं करनी है, आपको इंटीग्रेट करना है. डाटा इज प्लेथोरा ऑफ डाटा इज देयर इन द मार्केट. आपको अब तो इंफॉर्मेशन चला गया है. वो यू जस्ट थिंक अबाउट 25 years back or 20 years back when people used to go to the libraries and sit for hours and used to study. अभी आपको सब you are having everything at the click of the mouse or in your mobile also. So there is so much of data available, but how to integrate it into your teaching is the real challenge before you. Information तो बहुत सारी मेरे पास धरी हुई है, लेकिन वो इंटीग्रेशन, वो हम डेटा को उठा के कैसे वैल्यू एडेड कर सकते हैं, दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. नंबर वन. नंबर टू, यू हैव टू रिस्पेक्ट ऑल द पॉइंट्स. डाइवर्स व्यूज हैं, किसी का व्यूज कुछ है, कल्चरल किसी का व्यू कुछ है. नो नो नो, आपको सारे व्यूज को रिस्पेक्ट करना पड़ेगा एंड यू विल हैव टू कम आउट विद अ sort of a mid sort of a solution कि हम कैसे कर सकें. एंड इन द प्रोसेस धीमे धीमे अगर वो व्यूज गलत भी हैं तो ओवर द पैसेज ऑफ द टाइम दैट विल ट्राई टू clear house. Okay. Third thing, now commitment to the social progress. When I talk about the social progress and societal progress, naturally हम क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं भाई? भाई हम सबको इसलिए पढ़ा रहे हैं कि अच्छे से पढ़ोगे, यू विल गेट अ गुड जॉब. इट गोज लाइक दिस ना. इतना कंपटीशन आ गया है, सोशल प्रोग्रेस कैसी होगी? इट इज इनडायरेक्टली और डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू द इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस आल्सो. तो जब भी इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस होगी, हमारी सोशल प्रोग्रेस भी होगी. तो हमारा कमिटमेंट टू, जब सोशल प्रोग्रेस की हम बात करते हैं, टू वी ऑल्सो मीन द इकोनॉमिक प्रोग्रेस. वी ऑल्सो मीन टू टीच आवर स्टूडेंट्स इन सच अ मैनर कि उनको आगे का करियर डिजाइन करने में इश्यूज नहीं आए. ठीक है ना. एंड when I talk about humility, it means honesty, humbleness. बहुत सारा नॉलेज है लेकिन कोई इशू नहीं है. You are ready to learn and learn. And lifelong learning. कभी भी कोई आदमी टीचर पूरा नहीं होता है. You have to learn again and again. मुझे प्रेजेंटेशन बनाना था, मेरे को आर्टिकल पढ़ना पड़ा. मेरे पास ऊपर से नहीं आ गया. And how are you resilient to the challenges? आप challenges को कैसे constructively देख रहे हो कि नहीं देख रहे हो? Whether your behavior towards the challenges is really very impeaching, is really very energetic, is really very agile. That is also a very important factor when you talk about challenges. Now, strategies for developing the ideal personality. Very quickly, I'll try to tell because uh, uh, okay. Uh, First, uh, I do not know whether we have 1.5 hours, 1 hour 15 minutes.
Sir,
I did
the
not.
time is around from 7 to 8:15, and within that or somewhere beyond that,
Okay,
we can have question answer session also.
okay, तब ठीक. Then it's clear. Then no issue. Okay, okay. Now strategies for developing the ideal personality. क्या क्या skills होना चाहिए एक ideal personality को develop करने के लिए? Actually मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बता दूं कि मैं मतलब सॉर्ट ऑफ मैंने प्रिपरेशन आपको ये दे दिया है ये प्रेजेंटेशन लेकिन मैं आइडियल वर्ड से मतलब मुझे बहुत ज्यादा मजा नहीं है मेरा बस मतलब ये है कि some sort of a near to being a perfect you cannot be a perfect also you know so what ought to we would do naturally जब तक हम अपना assessment when we'll not try to assess ourselves also and when I talk about the assessment of the self it clearly it clearly means I am in a FDP मैं बात करता हूँ अभी so it clearly means when we talk about the strategies for developing the ideal personality it requires a not let me use the word self-introspection. Introspection means self thinking about yourself, rather self-assessment and the feedback which we get not only from our students, our peers, our colleagues, and all these things. Then only we can try to develop into being a sort of a perfect or nearby a perfect person. And why I say this? Because अगर हम अपनी आलोचना नहीं सुनेंगे तो हम कुछ नहीं सुन पाएंगे because हमको तो मन में ये है कि I know everything about myself and I suppose I have vast knowledge. तो जो मैंने कह दिया that's the final word. It doesn't go like this, because बहुत सारे लोगों को बहुत सारी knowledge है. Second thing is that the mentorship, how you mentor people and how you collaborate your membership with things, and how to during the process of when I say mentorship and collaboration, please try to understand. When I talk about mentorship, it gradually means that you have to mentor the people. In between, you have to pick up the collaborators from there and then try to disperse this into the society. So mentorship and collaboration is one thing. Now, naturally, this is not new thing. I have already said, how can you balance your teaching skills along with your research goals also? Because when I talk about balancing teaching, it means going to projects, taking some minor projects, taking some UGC projects, going to conferences. टीचिंग पे तो नुकसान हो रहा है ना स्टूडेंट को आप क्लास में नहीं हो 6 दिन से यू आर इन स्पेन फॉर इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस यू आर मिसिंग योर क्लासेस आल्सो योर स्टूडेंट्स आर मिसिंग द क्लासेस आल्सो कैसे आप इसको कंपैटिबिलिटी करोगे ना so this is a balancing between the teaching and your research goals also because आपको research skills को और acumen को भी sharpen करना है और teaching को भी balance करना है थर्ड naturally हम कैसे seminars को जाएं webinars को जाएं refreshers को जाएं है ना go into more and more publications in very reputed journals also हम पेपर को राइटिंग करें हम प्लेगरिज्म के बारे में सोचें कि कैसे प्लेगरिज्म हम अवॉइड कर सकते हैं कैसे हम क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग दे सकते हैं हम 1.5 साल में एक पेपर लिखें 1 साल में एक पेपर लिखें नो इशू डेली हम कंप्यूटर पे बैठ के एक पेज का आधे पेज का पौन पेज का लिखें नो इशू हम 15 पेज को देने में 4 महीने लगा दें नो इशू है ना तो लेट अस थिंक अबाउट कि हमारा प्रोफेशनल डेवलपमेंट कैसे हो सकता है एंड द लास्ट इज व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट द एथिकल डिसीजन मेकिंग ethical decision making is clearly to demarcate how your teaching is at the crossroads of what comes as far as the cultural transformation is concerned और कैसे आप उस decision को आप imbibe कर सकते हैं that is known as a very important concept of going for the ethical decision making now having said all these things you will have to face problems also perfect idealism की बातें तो कह दी थोड़ा challenges की भी बातें करें कि आपको मतलब पर्सनालिटी फॉर्मेशन में व्हाट इंडीड वुड यू लाइक would you see? Are you likely to witness? क्या क्या pressures आपके सामने आ सकते हैं? Naturally you have to have the work pressure. Examinations आ गए हैं, पढ़ाई भी करनी है, टीचर्स क्लासेस भी लेनी है, मॉड्यूल पूरा नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है ना, और एग्जामिनेशन का पेपर भी चार्ट करना है, ठीक है ना, ऑफिस में कुछ काम भी प्रिंसिपल ने दे दिया है. हाउ टू कम ऑल दीज थिंग्स. और मेरे को रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट भी है, कॉन्फ्रेंस में भी जाना है यार, उसका भी एब्स्ट्रैक्ट नहीं भेजा है, कैसे होगा? हाउ टू डू ऑल दिस थिंग? यू विल हैव टू फाइंड आउट द वेज कि इस वर्क प्रेशर को, how to take out these work pressure, try to design your priorities, और इन वर्क प्रेशर्स को कैसे आप बर्न आउट करें जिसमें वो आपके ऊपर ना आ जाए. सेकंड, द इंस्टीट्यूशनल कंस्ट्रेंट्स. हम सब टीचर्स हैं, आप लोग सब जान रहे हैं, यू आर इन कॉलेजेस और द यूनिवर्सिटीज और ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, so many things goes without my speaking also. जब हम इंस्टीट्यूशनल कंस्ट्रेंट्स की बात करते हैं, हम कैसे बैलेंसिंग कर पाते हैं? 2027 we have the World Congress of Sociology in South Korea. अरे छुट्टी नहीं मिलेगी भैया, 12 दिन लगेगा, वो प्रिंसिपल नहीं देगा, वाइस चांसलर नहीं देंगे, फाइल पड़ी रहेगी. कैसे you have to come out of all these institutional constraints also. And when you talk about institutional constraints, it does not mean only your specific constraints. It also means the constraints towards financial, researchers in the form of getting front funds also, some teaching holidays also, some sabbaticals also, whatever you may think comes as a institutional constraints also. So here, my only small suggestion to you all will be that unless and until you develop a proper personality, you're not able to request, teach, or convince your peers and your colleagues and your seniors also in your institution that no, I have done this, I have done this, I have done that. I'm also trying to indulge in this training and this training. I have done so many classes, but sir, this thing, madam, this thing is very important for me. So you will have to find out some solutions for yourself also. Number two. Number three is that when I talk about the balancing of the objectivity, your objectivity is to attend a conference in 2026 July in Finland, which is very important for your personal growth also, but you are seeing very many impediments and hurdles over there. So how to deal it with the empathy? आपको दिक्कत भी ना आए, प्रॉब्लम भी ना आए, सामने वाले को दिक्कत भी ना आए. How to balance your goal and objectivity with a sense of gratitude, politeness is very important, जो आपके personality formation में दिक्कत देगा, है ना? Now, last thing is the resistance to change or the feedback. The thing is that कैसे आप resist करोगे अगर आपको रिसर्च के लिए पैसा ना मिले, या आपको फंड के लिए पैसा ना मिले, या बाहर जाने को पैसा ना मिले? नो. अगर नहीं मिला है, आप यू ट्राई टू असेस द रीजन कि क्यों नहीं हो पाया है, या क्यों डिनाई हो गई है मेरी ग्रांट, और सोचो उस पर, ट्राई टू वर्क ओवर इट. मे बी 10 बहाने आप उनके ऊपर डाल रहे हो, शायद एक मेरा भी है कि ये गलती मेरे तरफ से हो गई है. दिस इज अ सॉर्ट ऑफ अ फीडबैक विच योर माइंड कैन टेल योर सेल्फ ऑल्सो. आपका जो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड इस जगह पे पीछे है, जो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड है, वो नॉक करेगा कि यहाँ पे गलती हुई है. तो वो हम कैसे उस चेंज के बारे में रेजिस्ट ना करें कि अरे मत करो, हम नहीं करते हैं, हम उसको एक्सेप्ट करें. These are some of the challenges which I suppose that you people and we people and I also have to face in our day-to-day life. Now, when we talk about we have talked about the challenges, हम इसको थोड़ा सा कैसे हटा सकते हैं, ओवरकम कर सकते हैं. How to subside these challenges? अगर currently we are not in a position of abolishing everything, तो कैसे हम इन challenges को थोड़ा reduce कर सकते हैं, ठीक है ना? We have to prioritize our self-care and time management. सुबह हम 9 बजे उठ रहे हैं, 8 बजे उठ रहे हैं, हमने स्टूडेंट्स को रिक्वेस्ट कर दी कि भैया वो 15 मिनट पहले क्लास में आ जाओगे? हाँ, आ जाएंगे सर. ठीक है ना, मैडम आ जाएंगे, वील बी देयर. हमने क्लास 8:30 की थी, 9 की थी, 9:30 की थी, उसको 9 बजे कर दी. हमने हाफ एन आवर अपना टाइम कट किया, अपने पर्सनल सिस्टम को थोड़ा रिड्यूस किया, घर से जल्दी निकले, थोड़े टाइम को मैनेज किया, उसी बीच में 1 घंटे का जो आगे टाइम मिला, वी ट्राई टू डू समथिंग which is which is a sort of a good for all of us. This is only known as prioritizing our self care. हो सकता हो हमको अपनी बॉडी सिस्टम्स को थोड़ा रिड्यूस करना पड़े, अपने कंफर्ट को रिड्यूस करना पड़े, टाइम को मैनेज करना पड़े, लेकिन अगर मुझे लगता है कि मेरे 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 चैलेंज को इस रिड्यूस करने में मदद होगा, तो लेट्स गो फॉर इट. ओके, नंबर 1. सेकेंड is very important. Foster institutional culture of support. आपका इंस्टीट्यूशन हर समय आपकी बुराई कर रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है. आप इंस्टीट्यूशन के कल्चर को समझें. एक्सेप्शंस मे बी एवरीवेयर, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट, बट अगर हम अपने इंस्टीट्यूशनल कल्चर के बारे में सोचेंगे कि कैसा हमारा इंस्टीट्यूशन भी डेवलप करे. वी आर एट राजीव गांधी नेशनल यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ लॉ, ठीक है ना, और कैसे हमारा इंस्टीट्यूशन भी डेवलप करे, वो भी मेरे बारे में बहुत सोचता है और हम भी उसके बारे में बहुत सोचते हैं. उसका कल्चर क्या है? उसका कल्चर है कि बहुत सारे रिसर्चर्स करो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट द इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी, आप कभी भी फैकल्टी में जाके देखोगे तो यू विल फाइंड दे इनकरेज रिसर्च 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 रिसर्च. After every 2 years, they give you 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, 1 lakh for professional memberships, for grants, for blah, blah, blah. This is their culture. It means वो आपको support कर रहा है for research. Maybe हमारा institute बड़ा पुराने समय का है, वो ये चीज को नहीं समझ रहा है. But it is not the case now, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters. Please try to understand. अब ये system नहीं है. Times have been changing. जो पुराने पद्धति के भी इंस्टीट्यूट्स थे, they have to come up with the recent paces of times. वो कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, बहुत सारे स्टेट्स में the higher education department provides funds to the state colleges also कि आप वेबिनार करो, ये करो, वो करो, इस चीज पे करो, उस चीज पे करो. ये क्या है? They are trying to foster that institutional culture also, जिसमें आपका इंस्टीट्यूशन भी आपको सपोर्ट करे. So हमको वो चीज भी देखा है. थर्ड, अगर आप इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी रिसर्च के बारे में नहीं सोचोगे, प्लीज, यहाँ पे लॉ भी है, यहाँ पे सोशियोलॉजी भी है, यहाँ इकोनॉमिक्स भी है, नहीं होगा. लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, आपने अभी देखा है यूजीसी हैज कम आउट विद अ प्रोफेसर ऑफ प्रैक्टिस. व्हाट इज प्रोफेसर ऑफ प्रैक्टिस? प्रोफेसर ऑफ प्रैक्टिस ये है कि अगर कल्पेश जी जो हैं वो लॉ के बारे में, ही इज अ सीनियर एडवोकेट, वो 15 साल से प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, उनके पब्लिकेशंस हैं, वो हाई कोर्ट में हैं, उनकी ये राइटिंग्स है, उनकी वो राइटिंग्स है, तो गवर्नमेंट कहती है नो, हमें आपको 5 साल का 8 साल का टीचिंग एक्सपोजर की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. ठीक है ना? आपने बेसिकली उस एरिया में बहुत सारा वर्क किया है, यू आर अपॉइंटेड एज ए प्रोफेसर ऑफ प्रैक्टिस. आपने बेसिकली काम किया हुआ है इकोनॉमिक्स में, और आप सोशियोलॉजिकल इंसाइट्स को इकोनॉमी में कैसे स्टडी करोगे? आप सोशियोलॉजी में पॉलिटिक्स का क्या रोल है, जब तक पॉलिटिकल साइंस के बारे में छोटा सा नहीं जानोगे, आप कैसे करोगे? एनवायरमेंट सोशियोलॉजी को, स्पोर्ट्स को कैसे इफेक्ट करता है, जब तक आपने खेल नहीं पढ़ा है या आपने एनवायरमेंट के बारे में नहीं पढ़ा है, आप कैसे जानोगे? साइकोलॉजिकल प्रेशर्स क्या होते हैं, जब तक आप साइकोलॉजी नहीं पढ़ोगे, कैसे नहीं जानोगे? पढ़ने का मतलब है यू डोंट हैव टू गो फॉर दैट a degree or something like this. लेकिन जब हम इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी रिसर्च की बात करेंगे, इट ग्रेजुअली मीन्स कि हमने कोई 2 सब्जेक्ट को 4 सब्जेक्ट को मिला के कोई उस पर बातें करी है, उस पर कोई रिसर्च करी है. तो हमको थोड़ा पॉलिटिकल साइंस का भी इंस्टिंक्ट आ गया है मेरे पास, और थोड़ा इकोनॉमिक्स का भी आ गया है, या सोशियोलॉजी का भी आ गया है. तो हमको सिर्फ ये नहीं सोचना है कि सोशियोलॉजी एज अ डिसिप्लिन के बारे में हम बातचीत करें. वी हैव टू थिंक द इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच ऑल्सो. और ये बहुत दिनों से है, सरकार इसको बहुत दिन से कह रही है, कम व्हाट टू मेक. एंड द लास्ट थिंग व्हाट आई वांटेड टू टेल टू यू इज दैट हमको हमेशा अपनी जो एथिकल बाउंड्रीज हैं उसके बारे में जरूर देखना पड़ेगा. कि हम कहाँ पे, मेरे लिए एक छोटा सा सॉर्ट ऑफ एक हर्डल लगा हुआ है. मैंने आपको हरियाणा की बात बताई, अभी बिहार की बात बताई, जम्मू कश्मीर की बात बताई. मे बी हमारी जो मुस्लिम गर्ल्स होती हैं, वुमेन्स होती हैं, उनका एक कल्चरल ट्रेडिशन है, उनको कहाँ कहाँ तक क्या क्या चीजें परमिसेबल होती हैं, एज पर देयर ओन ट्रेडिशन, आप समझ रहे हैं, या ट्राइब्स में कौन कौन है, उनको कहाँ कहाँ तक क्या परमिसेबल होती है। अगर कोई स्टेट्स डेवलप नहीं है, मान लो बिहार का कोई पोर्शन थोड़ा सा नीचे रह गया है, वो कहते हैं कि नहीं अभी हम स्पोर्ट्स में आने नहीं जाएंगे, तो हम उन एथिकल बाउंड्रीज को कैसे मेंटेन करेंगे, हम उनको कैसे रिस्पेक्ट करते हुए इन अ वेरी ग्रेजुअल फेज हम धीमे धीमे आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। एंड व्हेन वी डू दिस, जब हम इस चीज को करने की कोशिश करते हैं, तभी हम अपने आप का रिफ्लेक्शन को समझ, ओनली देन वी कैन try to understand that what we are trying to deliver, you know. So we don't have to force and pressurize on whatever we have learned or whatever we have researched. We will only try to put up the things before them, क्योंकि वो ग्रेजुअल फेज में बाहर आएगी। देखिए, अ पर्सन, ये ह्यूमन बीइंग का नेचर है, यू नो, वो इट चेंजेस अकॉर्डिंग टू द पैसेज ऑफ द टाइम। आप बात समझिए, जब मैं पैसेज ऑफ द टाइम कहता हूं, तो कोई भी चेंज होने के लिए थोड़ा समय लगता है। यू गेट माय पॉइंट, वो ओवरनाइट नहीं होता है। अगर गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया डीकोलोनाइजेशन के ऊपर बातचीत कर रही है, उसके ऊपर कोई प्रेजेंटेशन कर रही है, इट विल टेक सम टाइम, यू नो। हम पुरानी हिस्ट्री को रीराइट अगर करने के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, तो हम उसको वाइप ऑफ नहीं करेंगे, यू नो। हम उसको सेगमेंट्स के साथ रिप्लेस करने की सोच रहे हैं कि नहीं, आपने ये 4 चीज पढ़ाई है, दिस इज गुड, लेकिन ये 2 चीज को आप जरा और पढ़ा दो। अगर आपने बाल गंगाधर तिलक के बारे में भी बातचीत करी है, अच्छा किया है आपने, तो थोड़ा सा आप खुदीराम बोस के बारे में भी बता दो, या चंद्रशेखर आजाद के बारे में बता दो, या मंगल पांडे के बारे में भी बता दो, यू नो। सो ये क्या होता है, ये ग्रेजुअल फेज में हम उनके सिस्टम को रिप्लेस नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम उनके सिस्टम के साथ रेजोनेट करके थोड़े से स्किल्स को अपने बढ़ा रहे हैं, जिसमें हमारी जनरेशन शुड ऑल्सो नो कि क्या क्या हमारे फ्रीडम फाइटर्स में कौन कौन लोग हुआ करते थे। चाहे सावित्रीबाई फुले हो, जिन्होंने शिक्षा के लिए काम किया हो, चाहे मंगल पांडे हो, जिन्होंने इसके लिए अपने फ्रीडम के लिए फाइट किया हो। तो मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि वी दिस डज नॉट मीन डिमीनिंग गांधी जी, डिमीनिंग नेहरू जी, डिमीनिंग अदर सुभाष चंद्र बोस जी, नो, it means meaning these also new freedom fighters. I just wanted to tell you through an example only this thing. मेरा आपको ये कहने का मतलब सिर्फ एक एग्जाम्पल के थ्रू था। It does not imply anything else, any specific thing also. You know, this is the thing. You know, तो हमको अपनी ethical boundaries को जबरदस्त रूप से कंट्रोल करना पड़ेगा, because as teachers, as organizers, as researchers, हम किसी की फीलिंग को भी हर्ट करने के बारे में नहीं सोच सकते हैं। और सेंटिमेंट्स ड्रिवन कंट्री है हमारी, नॉट ओनली हियर, द इंटायर ग्लोब इज सेंटिमेंट ड्रिवन। अगर कोई कहता है कि भारत में लोग बहुत सेंटिमेंट ड्रिवन है, नो, दी जेंजी मूवमेंट ऑफ नेपाल इज बिफोर यू, वो तो हमारा देश नहीं है। दी जेंजी मूवमेंट ऑफ भोपाल, सॉरी, दिस थिंग कोलंबो, दिस श्रीलंका वाज बिफोर अस, मेरा नहीं है। अभी आई वाज इन रबात, मोरक्को इन जुलाई फॉर द वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑफ सोशियोलॉजी, अभी वहां पे भी जेंजी मूवमेंट हो गया है। तो वो तो सेंटिमेंट्स को एड्रेस करना इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड हमारे जो बच्चे आ रहे हैं, आप समझिए, दे हैव ग्रोन अप इनटू बीइंग गुड, लेकिन अभी भी इनके माइंड्स टेंडर हैं, अभी भी इनके माइंड्स में ये स्कोप है कि हम उसमें ठीक ठीक बातों को डाल सकें, डिस्पाइट चेंजिंग ऑफ द पेस एंड चेंजिंग ऑफ द टाइम ऑल्सो। तो इसलिए ये चीजें ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है ना। नाउ वन बेसिकली क्या है कि व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट अ मोटिवेशनल थॉट, ठीक है ना, एंड व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द गुड टीचर्स आल्सो, फॉर एग्जांपल लर्नर, मैं घर से बाहर गया, आज मेरी कार ठीक नहीं है, मेरे को 3 किलोमीटर जाना है, तो आई हायर्ड ए रिक्शा पुलर। मैं बैठ गया, मैंने उसको पूछा भैया क्या नाम है, तो बोलो भैया मेरा नाम एक्स है। मैंने कहा अच्छा कहाँ रहते हो, ही सेज दैट सर मेरा गांव तो गाजीपुर में है, उत्तर प्रदेश में। तो मैं अच्छा ठीक है, कुछ खेती वेती है, डू यू हैव एनी, कुछ खेती वेती, एनी एनीथिंग, लैंड एक्सेट्रा? अरे सर थोड़ी सी है, 1 बीघा है छोटा सा। ओके ओके, तो बढ़िया है, इस समय तो गेहूं लगा रखा होगा सब जगह। अरे सर, ये गेहूं का टाइम नहीं है सर, ये धान का टाइम है। अभी आई डिड नॉट न्यू कि वो गेहूं बोने का टाइम नहीं था, वो तो चावल बोने का टाइम था, धान बोने का टाइम था, है ना। तो दैट फेलो हु इज नॉट एजुकेटेड, पढ़ा लिखा नहीं है, मैं बहुत पीएचडी हूँ, ठीक है ना, उसने मुझे बता दिया कि ये फला मौसम जो है वो धान का है। मेरा क्या कहना है आपसे, यू हैव टू बी one person who has to be in the continuous process of learning. And when I talk about learning, my dear brothers and sisters, you have to inculcate the habit of reading. आप पढ़ोगे नहीं तो आपको कुछ नहीं होगा। ये कंप्यूटर का ज्ञान लो, छोटे छोटे आर्टिकल्स निकालो, छोटे छोटे राइटअप निकालो और पढ़ो। रीड एटलीस्ट 1 पेज बिफोर गोइंग टू द बेड। 1 पेज पढ़ो, 2 पेज पढ़ो, जितनी कैपेसिटी है उतनी पढ़ो, बट try to keep on reading, try to keep on learning, try to keep yourself with the pace of this fast moving world also, क्योंकि उनके साथ आप नहीं रहोगे तो थोड़ा सा इश्यूज आते रहेंगे। और when we talk about the teachers, तो रिसर्चर्स कौन होते हैं? मैंने बहुत रिसर्च कर ली स्पोर्ट्स सोशियोलॉजी पे, मैंने डोपिंग पे एक बहुत बड़ी रिसर्च करी है, अभी स्प्रिंगर में बड़ा आर्टिकल छापा है, सब ठीक है, लेकिन 3 साल हो गया, अभी छापा है जुलाई अगस्त में, लेकिन उसके बाद 3 साल हो गए एंड दिस इज 2028, उसके बाद मैंने कोई आर्टिकल नहीं छापा। तो मेरा रिसर्च किस काम का है? हमने कोई एक सर्वे किया था विद 100 पीपल, उन्होंने कोई फाइंडिंग्स दी थी, सैंपल साइज उस सिटी में पटियाला के अंदर सैंपल साइज मैंने 100 लोगों का लिया, डन, ठीक है ना, लेकिन हमने उसमें जेंडर कंसिडरेशन नहीं किया। तो क्या अगली बार हम उसमें जेंडर कंसिडरेशन को नहीं रखेंगे? जब हम जेंडर कंसिडरेशन को लेके जाएंगे तो मेरे टीचिंग एक्यूमेंट को वो और शार्पन नहीं करेगा। दैट इज वाई व्हाट आई वांट टू से इज दैट you have to keep on researching. And when I talk about researching, it does not only mean कि आपको यूजीसी को ग्रांट मिलेगी, आईसीएसएसआर को ग्रांट मिलेगी, जो मैंने मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ यूथ अफेयर्स एंड स्पोर्ट्स गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के स्पोर्ट्स सेक्शन में सोशियोलॉजी ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स को इंडक्ट करवा दिया है, उससे ग्रांट मिलेगी? नो, छोटे छोटे रिसर्चेस ऐसी होती है, 50-50 लोगों की, 100-100 लोगों की, जो आप घर बैठे कर सकते हो, आइदर थ्रू अ क्वेश्चनर और थ्रू अ स्मॉल सर्वे, और आप उससे डाटा कलेक्ट करके कुछ ना कुछ छोटा सा रिसर्च कर सकते हो। जब आप ये रिसर्च करोगे एंड देन यू विल कम इनटू द मार्केट, इनटू योर क्लास, एंड देन यू विल ट्राई टू पुट अप समथिंग इन द जर्नल, वो इट विल नॉट बी अ हियरसे, इट विल नॉट बी एन ओपिनियन। इसलिए टीचर जो है कभी ओपिनियन फॉर्म नहीं करेंगे। टीचर्स आर नॉट ओपिनियन मेकर्स, टीचर्स आर रिसर्चर्स। जब हम रिसर्च करेंगे वो हम आपके सामने साइंटिफिकली रखेंगे, उस चीज को साइंटिफिकली रखेंगे का अर्थ होता है कि हम प्रूव करेंगे कि भाई ऐसा नहीं है, तुम्हारी बात अपने विचार पे है, मैंने तो 200 लोगों का सर्वे करके ये बातचीत आपके सामने रखी हुई। दैट इज वाई प्रीवियसली व्हेन आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट दी दिस पोल ओपिनियन पोल्स एक्सेट्रा, ये क्या होता है? ये छोटा छोटा सैंपल साइज लेके में आगे बढ़ते हैं। नाउ क्यों रिसर्च होती है? रिसर्च इज लाइक दिस, क्योंकि हमने सैंपल साइज 2500 वोटर्स कर लिया, लेकिन वहां तो पॉपुलेशन 5 लाख की वोट कर रही थी, मेरा सैंपल खत्म हो गया, जीरो हो गया मेरा, जो 2500 के लोगों को किया था वो फ्रूट नहीं किया। व्हाट डज दिस मीन? अगली बार हम बड़े सैंपल साइज को लेके बातचीत करेंगे। तो इट इज एन ऑन गोइंग प्रोसेस, रिसर्च इज एन ऑन गोइंग प्रोसेस। और मैं तो आपको बता रहा हूं, आज मैं आई हैव क्रॉस द एज ऑफ 58 ईयर्स। मैं अभी भी आपको बता दूं, मेरे 3 पेपर पब्लिकेशन में गए हुए हैं। मैं कुछ न कुछ लिखता पढ़ता रहता हूँ, उससे मैं कुछ सीखता रहता हूँ, मुझे लोग सिखाते रहते हैं, लोग मेरी बुराई भलाई भी करते हैं, नो इशू, यू नो। और इसीलिए somebody has written because मुझे ये चूंकि आज जसलीन जी और कल्पेश जी, मुझे सेगमेंट नहीं पता था कि आज हमारे पास मतलब इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग लोग हैं कि दे आर सॉर्ट ऑफ हिंदी स्पीकिंग, है ना। तो मैंने सॉर्ट ऑफ आई ट्राई टू प्रेजेंट समथिंग सॉर्ट ऑफ इन अ बाइलिंगुअल दिस थिंग, कि जिसमें थोड़ा सा हार्ट में चली जाए। और एनएपी सीधे सीधे यही बात करती है, एंड यू विल नॉट बिलीव, अभी कुछ दिन मैं तो बहुत ऑप्टिमिस्टिक हूँ। मैंने अभी अपने इलेक्शन कैंपेन में सेक्रेटरी के मैंने सबको जब ईमेल्स भेजी हैं, तो आई सेंड दी आवर गुजराती ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स इन गुजराती लैंग्वेज to in Gurumukhi to our Punjab people, and Kannada to Karnataka, Malayalam to Kerala, and Tamil to Tamil Nadu, blah blah blah. So unless and until language हाथ पे नहीं पहुंचेगी, वो काम नहीं होता है. इसीलिए मेरा ये कहना आपसे इंस्पिरेशन थॉट के तरीके से है कि प्लीज ट्राई टू कीप ऑन लर्निंग. छोटा छोटा लर्न करो, छोटा छोटा लर्न करो. नौकरी पा गए हो 2 लाख की, 1 लाख की, खत्म ना कर दो अपने आप को. असिस्टेंट से एसोसिएट जाओगे, प्रोफेसर जाओगे, अब मेरे को मिल गया यार, अब हो गया, खत्म हो गया. नो, बहुत सुख मिलेगा एकेडमिक लाइन में. इधर हो उधर जाओ, वो कॉन्फ्रेंस अटेंड करो, वो प्रोजेक्ट करो. बहुत कुछ आपको सीखने के लिए, रिसर्च करने के लिए है. And before coming to the this last slide also, when I talk about the aspect of conclusion, sorry, when I talk about the aspect of conclusion, जो academic personality है, it is a conglomeration, एक जोड़ है, एक ग्रुप है, एक मिक्सचर है, एक फ्यूजन है, एक ब्लेंड है. When I talk about all these words, वो क्या है? When I talk about intellect, it talks about the intellectual capabilities. And when I talk about the intellectual capabilities, dear my friends, mind it, intellectual capability means teaching plus research. And the content of your FDP is the pedagogical skills in teaching plus research. So when I talk about your intellectual capabilities, it talks about both. Number one, it's a mixture of intellectual capabilities. One, between intellect, you have teaching, you have research. When you talk about empathy, it talks about how you resonate with the current cultures, traditions, values of the people whom you are trying to interact with, and whether it is ethical, whether your interaction procedure with the people whom you're interacting is ethical or not. Try to understand. When I talk about empathy, it's a different thing. When I talk about ethical system, it's a different thing. When I talk about empathy, it means हम उनके कल्चर को, ट्रेडिशंस को, सिस्टम को समझें. बट व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एथिक्स, हम समझ तो चुके हैं उनके सिस्टम्स को, लेकिन हम अपनी तरफ से उसको एनफोर्स कर रहे हैं. दिस इज नॉट गोइंग अगेंस्ट द एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स. तो जो एकेडमिक पर्सनालिटी आइडियल होने की बात सोचेगा, परफेक्ट होने की बात सोचेगा, नियर अबाउट परफेक्ट होने की बात सोचेगा, it will be a conglomeration, a mixture, a fusion, a collection of the intellectual capabilities, the empathy capabilities, and the ethical standards also. Second thing is that the teaching naturally आपकी वैल्यूज को रिफाइन करेगा. क्यों रिफाइन करेगा? हमारे फोर फादर्स ने, सिस्टम्स ने बहुत अच्छे से करिकुलम्स को डिजाइन किया है, हमको वैल्यूज को शेप किया है. कमी जो होती है वो ग्रेजुअल फेज में दे आर ट्राइंग टू रिफाइन इट इवन मोर. तो आवर टीचिंग सिस्टम विल ट्राई टू रिफाइन आवर वैल्यूज ऑल्सो. हम एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स की बात करते हैं. एक प्रोफेसर, एक टीचर, एक असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, एक लेक्चरर बदमाशी नहीं करेगा. लोग पब्लिक में कहेंगे यार टीचर हो के ऐसी बात करते हो यार. Does this behavior show good? You are eating pan and you are spitting here and there. Does this show good? So this teaching also refines our values, and naturally, as I told you previously also, the research, it basically sharpens our intellectual capabilities also. And when we combine both things together, they will form you into a being of a balanced, a motivated, and a scholar which can try to impact on the lives of hundreds, millions, and many more. You as a teacher are not confined only to your classrooms, ladies and gentlemen. You have a societal role also. You have a societal role also कि आप सोसाइटी को भी कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं. मोहल्ले में लोग कहते हैं अरे वो प्रोफेसर साहब रहते हैं. व्हाट डज दिस गो? ये सिग्नल कैसा जाता है? ये सिग्नल ऐसा जाता है कि वो प्रोफेसर साहब होशियार व्यक्ति हैं, इंटेलेक्चुअल व्यक्ति हैं, बैलेंस बात करते हैं, अच्छी बात करते हैं. तो हम जब आइडियल एकेडमिक पर्सनालिटी होंगे तो ये ऑटोमेटिकली हमारे पास आना चाहिए. इट शुड बी in the form of a very balanced system. And when we come to the sort of references, मैंने नेचुरली अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में मैक्स की बात करी, दुर्खेम की बात करी, मीड की बात करी. मीड हैज रिटन एक्सटेंसिवली अपने के लिए एंड सोसाइटी के कोई इंटरसेक्शन को, हाउ टू रीड द सेल्फ एंड द सोसाइटी, उसके इंटरसेक्शन को आप स्टडी करिए. देन जो आज का जो मॉरल एजुकेशन है, व्हेन ही टॉक्स अबाउट दुर्खीम, ही टॉक्स अबाउट द मॉरल एजुकेशन, और वो कैसे सोशल सिस्टम्स में it can bring about the change which is needed. And when we talk about solidarity, solidarity means solidarity to be in one. Country should be one, region should be one, we as people, as citizens of India should be one. And what Weber talks about is, when we talk about the excess of scholarship, is the last slide, when he talked about the empathy, intellectual capabilities, and the ethical systems also. So it talks about the ethics of the scholarship as far as teaching and research is concerned. I consulted one or two small journals also on pedagogy and academic ethics, just to get a small view about this thing, nothing else. And I suppose it is 8:15 sharp, and thank you very much for giving me a very patient listening. And before I stop sharing this slide, one second. Yes. Yes, so it's yours. Thank you very much. And I'll be. Oh my goodness, the power is off, but no issue. I have the
Okay,
internet
sir.
here. No issue. है ना? चलिए, please. Thank you to the organizers, to the RGNUL, Kalpesh ji, Jasleen ji, and everybody, to you for giving me this opportunity. Daksh is also there. I am seeing many people are here. So thank you very much. Please, the house is yours, and to the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, you made me visit all my journey of 15 years in NLU as a sociologist. From 2007, we have seen 6 to 7 vice chancellors on position and also officiating. So, believe me, I would visit the point you talked about institutional support system and being reflecting for the growth of the institution. So, I think very fortunately, I am the only sociologist in India in NLU system who was the first nominated member of Executive Council, who was the first coordinator of combined law admission test from the university, who was the first coordinator of IGNOU School of Law for all the Northwest states of India, who has been the first and the only participant in the parliamentary committee's discussion on one nation, one election, who is the first and the only sociologist who has got law consultation from National Commission for Women, and also the first sociologist in India from NLUs who has done collaboration with uncountable ministries. And just because of all the VCs of Law University, this university had faith in a sociologist. So they did not have any bias, while telling me to do a particular thing. None of them, specifically this present Vice Chancellor, we have Professor Jayashankar, sir. He is the one who I think he just doesn't talk to or meet us much, but he just nominates us for some works. And he knows very well that if it is about National Commission for Women, sociologist should be the best person. If it is about elderly event, it should be again sociologist. If it is about one nation, one election, understanding the democratic nature of the country, it should be sociologist. And not even meeting me, not even showing that I'm doing something for you. Similar is the approach, has been the approach of the previous vice chancellors. So I am
Right.
too small to take all those names. So I appreciate, you're very right. If the institutions actually be a support system, our personality, our reach can go much beyond what we actually could imagine about ourselves. So see, you actually
Right.
made, this such a point that you made me revisit and be so thankful for all my university authorities, specifically the vice chancellor and the registrars who have been so supportive. And whatever personal, whatever professional things we had as a difference of opinion, but they never undid, they never undo the potential of a person as a sociologist. So कोई bias नहीं था सर उनके अंदर. This is why I have been what I am today. So you are very right, sir. और लेकिन sir, unfortunately, ये institutional support system बहुत कम लोगों को मिलता है. Unfortunately, बहुत कम लोगों को. I have many friends who are doomed to, a lowest level of professionalism because they are asked to work for colleges or universities, but they're not given liberty to work for themselves. So, sir, I wish that, we have, I think, 20-25 principals of some colleges with us. I'm so,
Oh,
and the place, we're so fortunate having heads of colleges and, departments. And we have, I just met, we have authorities from SWAM and CEC with us right now. We have senior advocates from several high courts also for attending this lecture. And sir, I think we are very fortunate by through you and through the senior professionals, we are spreading such a positive message to everyone. So I could not resist that, Anumita, and Kalpesh, on to you all to conduct that. We have lots of applauds and questions in the session, and let everyone talk to sir if there are some people raising their hands. Thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely, ma'am. To begin with, thank you so much, sir, for your deeply insightful session. Your teachings on the role of research in personality formation, sociological perspective, and the sheer importance of learning, they were all very, very inspiring. We will now open the floor for questions and discussions. Participants may either raise their hands to speak with sir, or they can put their question in the chat box. So there are already a few questions for you in the chat box. I'll read them out for you. What should we teach when we have taught some controversial topics like reservations, marriage, equality, or religion intolerance? Generally, students assess teachers' personality on the basis of teachers' opinions.
one second. The question is here. Okay. What should we teach when we have to teach some, okay, controversial topics like reservation, marriage, equality, or religion intolerance? Generally, students assess the teacher's personality on the basis of teacher's opinion. Okay, okay. It's a very pertinent question, but I many number of times. Let me come out very specifically. There are very controversial issues, For example, when you start going and trying to teach something, which the culture itself speaks something about, or the history speaks something about, which was not very fair to one particular sect or to the other particular sect, you know, you have to only try to read what history has taught you. Okay, what history was there in it, number one. Number two, you don't have to give your opinions. Number one. Number two. Number three, if in case you have to give your opinions, it should be only on the basis of proven researches which you have to put it. Please, you will be in no controversy. For example, when I talked about to you that you have talked a word of religious intolerance, I do agree. If in case you are talking about history